Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I'm gonna be talking about the Rimowa suitcase. I'm gonna be letting you know, is it worth the money? And I'm also gonna be comparing it to a popular, cheaper alternative from Away luggage. And guys, if you're new to the channel, my name is Chonger and I post travel, fashion, and lifestyle videos. And I'm actually gonna be going to visit Emily in Seoul in a couple of weeks. So guys, if you want to follow me along on my adventures, then hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and you won't miss a video. Anyway, so while you clicked onto this video, I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. I won't waste your time. I'm gonna tell you right now, the Rimowa is a far better suitcase in every way possible. You should expect that because it's 3 times the price. I'm going to be comparing the main differences on why I prefer the Rimowa, how I think it stands out compared to the Away, and then after I outline everything for you, then you can decide if you value paying the extra money for the Rimowa or not. The first main differentiator is the wheels. Now let me back up and tell you why I bought the Rimowa in the first place. Now before this suitcase, I actually had a very cheap suitcase from Groupon, but eventually it died out on me, the wheels got stuck, and it was a pain just dragging it around the airport. So you know what, I thought enough is enough, I gotta splurge on a suitcase. And guys, I admit I went to the exact polar opposite. I bought a Rimowa, but I don't regret this decision one bit. I've had this suitcase for about 3 years now, and it's one of the best purchases I've ever made, and it's definitely made travel a lot more enjoyable. Now, the main reason is due to the wheels. Like, it rolls so smoothly. But guys, the Away suitcase as well can be pushed throughout the airport with minimal effort, but you can really tell the difference when you're on more uneven surfaces like carpet, cobblestone, rough cement, just anything where it's not smooth. You can definitely tell the difference in quality of wheels. And the Rimowa, even though you're on more rougher surfaces, like, it's not unbearable to push. Like, it's definitely obviously harder than pushing on smooth flooring, right? But I don't have any issues pushing my suitcase through the streets or anything like that. But whereas with the Away suitcase, once I start getting on more rougher surfaces, I notice that, you know, the wheels just don't spin as nice. And sometimes, you know, I just even have to just drag the suitcase behind me just because the wheels just don't really seem to be moving that well. It's nothing like the Rimowa. So guys, don't underestimate the importance of the wheels. The second differentiator is the handle. Now on the Rimowa, it is a thicker handle, just more ergonomic, and it feels like you have more control over the suitcase. Whereas the one on the Away is more skinny, and it just feels like obviously the opposite. You don't have as much control, and it just seems a bit more flimsy. And especially too when you're exerting more force pushing this thing because the wheels are not as smooth, you know, you definitely notice the difference as well with the handle. And also too, besides the actual handle itself, as far as like the grip, the handle on the Away suitcase only has 2 levels of adjustability. But whereas the Rimowa, you can adjust the handle to a lot of different levels, giving you the most customizable feel for your suitcase. So the third differentiator is the inside, and on the Away suitcase, it has one side which is a zipper and one side with some clasps and, you know, straps, and both of those are really inconvenient to pack things quickly. I like the Rimowa how it's just Velcro straps, easy to take things in and out, and with the straps as well, offers some compression to really just help you push down all of your clothes. And guys, if you see the Velcro, you might think it's kind of weak and you might have thought you got a defect, but Rimowa actually thought about this, putting softer Velcro in, just because if it's more the rough stuff, right, it's gonna wreck your clothing. So you know what, these guys thought of everything, every little detail possible, and for me, I prefer the Velcro partitions versus the zipper or the clasp. It's just way more convenient. And the last point is the overall aesthetics. Like, guys, don't tell me that you think the Away suitcase looks better than the Rimowa. You'd be lying to yourself. The Rimowa is so sexy. It just looks like a very good suitcase, and it's pretty much like a fashion accessory at this point. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Away suitcase doesn't look bad. It looks better than a lot of the other cheaper suitcases that you can buy, but it still just does not compare to the Rimowa suitcase. So let me just talk quick about why I got the suitcases that I did. Now, I picked the polycarbonate bodies for each one just because they're cheaper, they're lighter, And with the aluminum ones, you'd have to worry about dents and stuff like that, whereas with this, I don't really care about that as much. If I paid, you know, like $1,600 for an aluminum Rimowa, right, I'd want to baby that thing. I would not want to see that get dents or anything like that, whereas this one, like, don't get me wrong, I did spend a pretty penny on it, but, you know, I don't mind just shoving that thing in the overhead bins. I don't mind if it gets scratches or anything like that. You know, suitcases are meant to be used, but I still don't like the look of dings and stuff like that, so I would definitely be a lot more cautious and I don't want to have to worry about that when I'm just traveling, you know. And I talked about why I got the Rimowa in the first place. Just really was an extreme from the cheaper Groupon suitcase that I used to have, and I ended up getting an away suitcase just because, you know what, I thought maybe I don't need such an expensive suitcase. Maybe the cheaper alternative does a good job, and for the most part it does. But for me, I probably will be returning this, and that's also one thing about away. You know, you can try the suitcase for 100 days, see if you like it or not, but for me, I'm gonna return it probably just because I don't really use big suitcases that often. Also too, for me, I think it's better just to save up for a suitcase that I'll really like, and you don't really go through a lot of suitcases anyways, especially with such a good quality one like the Rimowa. So I have no problems paying more for a Rimowa, knowing that I'll be able to enjoy it more. The main thing is the wheels, guys. Like, don't sleep on good wheels. So that's why I'm gonna be getting a Rimowa instead. You know, I might just keep this one, we'll see. But for sure, if anything, the next suitcase I'll get is a Rimowa. So do I think the Rimowa is worth it for everyone? No, you know, if you don't travel a lot, then, you know, you're definitely not getting the use out of a Rimowa. But then again, you know, a suitcase is kind of one of those things where you need to buy once, and, you know, if you buy a good quality suitcase, you don't really need to replace it forever, pretty much. Like, I don't see the Rimowa dying on me anytime soon, so, you know, it's a good investment, and it's definitely a lot more enjoyable to travel with. But, you know, if it's outside of your price range, then, you know, the away suitcase isn't that bad of an option, you know. It's definitely obviously not as good as the Rimowa, but, you know, for the price point, I would say the away suitcase is still a good option, and it's still a lot better than the cheaper suitcases. It's like the one I got from Groupon. Like, those wheels are even worse. Like, these ones, you know, I'm still confident that I could push them around the airport. Still an enjoyable experience. It's just when you get a bit more on the uneven surfaces, it gets a bit more of a struggle. But, you know, these are just minor inconveniences. And, you know, the away suitcase was a fraction of the price of the Rimowa. So, you know what? I can't complain too much about everything. It's still a good quality suitcase, and, you know, it does the job well. So the takeaway is, even though the Rimowa is a far better suitcase, doesn't mean that the away suitcase is a bad suitcase at all. And, you know, it might be a good option for you if you don't really care about some of the points that I brought up on why I prefer the Rimowa more. Then by all means, get an away suitcase. There is nothing wrong with it whatsoever. Anyways, guys, I want to thank you for making to the end of this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you found my comparison helpful. Anyways, smash that like button, subscribe if you aren't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace. I'm a rock star.